this is Jazz, bringing you another video game review. This review is for Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards. Now, I'm trying to think of how I'm going to make this review, because I have mixed feelings all across the board for it. Also, just to let you know, this was the only Yu-Gi-Oh! Game that I've actually ever played and beat, so I don't have much experience with any of the other Yu-Gi-Oh! Games, so it'll be a bit more difficult that way either. We'll just say I'll talk about my main gripe with the game. The inconsistent challenge level. Let's just put it this way. The way I see the game is that, let's pretend you're playing an FPS, you're online, and you're suddenly playing with a bunch of kids who are just picking it up for the first time, and you slaughter all of their men, and you feel so good about it. But then suddenly an expert level player sneaks out of the blue and shoots you down in one hit. Yeah, I know this is a bit of a weird comparison, but that is kind of how I felt through this game. I had an almost easy time with every other character in the game, minus Odeon and Mary Kishtar. Yes, we talk about you too, Yuki boy. I don't know why, and even Odeon, it was my own fault, right? Because I didn't know properly, I wasn't doing the deck thing properly with the deck capacity. So, but once I fixed that, Odeon was almost no problem either. And that is, again, the main problem I have with this game. There's, again, the level consistency, but I'm going to try to go on to other things in the gameplay, like, it's kind of tedious as well. You see, there's two big mechanics with your deck. It's your duelist level and the deck capacity. Now, in order to add the really good cards in your deck, you need a high deck capacity and a high level. Well, the level is not the biggest issue. The capacity, however, oh boy, you need to grind so much to be able to add decent cards to your deck. So before you go on to any of the main, battles, it's good to rebattle the same duelist over again, like Bones, Esperova, Rex sometimes, which took me a while to realize what I needed for him, Weevil, the duel machine in the Kaiba area, right? You needed to do those duelists all the time in this game. And really, even then I steamrolled most of them without the best deck I could have. Honestly, I just don't know if this was a me problem or if this is a problem people have with this game in general, but the whole deck capacity thing on top of the inconsistent levels was so annoying. But was the story worth it? It's pretty much the Battle City, the Battle City tournament, except for the fact that it's your player who's the chosen one rather than Yuki. I mean, that feels kind of cool, I guess. I mean, you're the hero, you get all the Egyptian god cards, you only really get 2 for a longer period of time, but it's cool, you're the owner of the god cards. Again, it's just not, just push Yugi out of the way, and then you're the chosen one. That is pretty much the story. Which again, the Battle City tournament was a pretty good story arc. So if you're a big fan of it, then this is your ideal game. So I'm trying to think of what else. I guess the audio and music actually was pretty cool. Like it had pretty epic battle themes. The graphics were just, it was good for a Game Boy Advance. It was good. It was the same graphics as you would for any Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. As I said, I'm trying to think of positive things about this game, because there are positive things about this game, right? it's just kinda, out of everything that I went through with this game, it was a guilty pleasure of mine for a little bit, I will confess that. But thinking back now, after a while, I've had better times with other games now. I will admit that. Like, are the flaws like deal breaking? Depends on like who you ask, right? For some people that might find this game a challenge. And I've heard that this isn't a game for beginner Yugioh game players, which again, somehow I was a little flabbergasted by. But I mean, the duel with Merrick, oh my. That is what I mean by the inconsistent level. Odeon was my fault, I'll give it that. But with Merrick, it took me 4 or 5 times, and the last time that it took me to beat him was luck. Like, he was creaming me back and forth, and then suddenly on the last duel, it seemed like things were going perfectly my way. I was destroying his monsters, depleting his life points. Suddenly, he had a big hitter out and destroyed my team, or my new monsters. And I'm like, oh, I knew it was too good to be true. Then suddenly I'm like, Regeki. Boom. I realized I could just play it on my turn. That's another thing. In this game, the rules of the cards are a little iffy to me. One card I could never use properly was the Inexperienced Spy, so I just removed it, right, from my deck, because it had no use, and it didn't have near force, so sometimes I didn't know if there was cards that could be played on your turn or your opponent's. But I should have realized Regeki was played on your turn, right? But still, that's what saved the final duel, because then I could deplete the last bit of his life points. Like, I almost lost it at the duel because of that almost stupid move. Like, it's like you don't have to worry or use your brain for most of the duels, but with Merrick, that's what I meant by that comparison I made earlier. Merrick is that high-level player that just comes out of nowhere and poof. Now look, I know you would argue, well, games are supposed to become more challenging. But okay, fair. But they're supposed to be a consistent thing. They're supposed to like start off really easy, and then every duel or every second duel is supposed to be a bit harder than the next. It's not supposed to be a low, flat line easy to a big spike in the final duel. Right? That is what isn't fair. Not the fact that it got more challenging, but the fact that they didn't give you any room. Right? They didn't give you any consistently build-up challenge. So imagine someone is newer than me to this series and is somehow having an easy time for the most part with these duels, and they're feeling so confident, like, and then suddenly Merrick shows up and just wipes the floor with their deck. Yeah. The thing is, at least I had the whole mindset to actually slowly upgrade my deck as I went on my own accord. But if you were having an easy time like I was, right, and they decided not to improve their deck because, oh, it's too easy, I don't really need to improve it, and then suddenly they're slaughtered by Merrick. Yeah. I mean, maybe you could argue I was having an easier time because I took the time to grind and add the monsters to my deck, and that could be the case. But if most people were having the same issue I was, and suddenly they're slaughtered by Merrick, it's not really fair, is it? I know this seems to all be an issue with just Merrick itself, right? That duel, and it would be fine if the level was slowly climbing up until Odeon and Merrick, right? Because then you would have an estimate, okay, how much stronger you need to be. Like, even Yugi himself was a piece of cake. Yugi, the one who's supposed to be the chosen one until my character showed up. This is, if he played against Merrick, how he played against me, oh, we'd all be screwed. Because, I'm sorry, it just... You would at least picture the main players would be a bit stronger than some of the other lower, like, Doubtless. Even, like, Rex or Weevil. Like, you think Yugi, Joey... Yeah, I know you could argue Joey was a newbie once, too. But at this point, he's put up as a bit more of a main finalist. So you would think they would be better, right? No. I mean, I can't. Even Kaiba. I beat Kaiba so easily. Kaiba and Yugi. Come on, you two, get your act together. Okay, yes, I know it seems like I'm complaining a lot about this game, and I apologize. I actually do enjoy this game, especially for the nostalgic trip. Like, the story, again, is solid. There's nothing wrong with it. It's pretty much a copy and paste Battle City Tournament minus your player being the lead in it. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that would kind of give you an ego boost a little bit. But the whole inconsistent challenge and those stupid rules with building your deck bring it down quite a lot. I mean, the characters are who they are. They're the copy and paste minus your own again. They have the personalities of what they would have in the anime, but you don't see them as much as you do in the anime, so there's a bit of a fault there too. The graphics are what they would be for a Game Boy Advance game. Pretty good for that. The music and audio has a few good tunes in it. The challenge, again, is what is the problem, so I'd say it would be middle, modern, right? Just at least in my end of the field, even though the Merrick battle, again, is stupid. If you know how to play, if you have even the decent sense of how to play, it's mostly easy up to the last duel. It can be pretty grindy, but again, you're grinding for a purpose, unlike Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life in the last 2 chapters. Okay, I'm sorry, I know I complain about this game a lot, and I love the game, but... So, alright. So all in all, what would I rate this game? I will admit, before I had done a review of this before, I had did the recording narration for this before, I was not feeling the greatest when I did it, and my rating probably suffered because of it, which I apologize, which is why I'm redoing this. I would probably give this game a 6.5 out of 10. Before I rated it a 5, I'd say maybe even a 7 on its good days. So it wouldn't be a perfect 10, but it has a lot going for it, so I can't just give it a 5. So I'd say a 6.5 out of 10 is my final rating of this game. So if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel and like what you see, please subscribe and help this channel a lot. And don't forget to hit the bell notification so you know when new videos are coming out. And I'll see you guys in my next video.